Welcome to Inside UKFC, the podcast. Here's your hosts, Dakota, Ditcheva and Aaron, AB.
Hi guys, welcome back to Inside UKFC Podcast, episode number 2. I'm Dakota and I'm here with head matchmaker Aaron AB today as we are back to talk about our first four-man tournament. Start off, Aaron, what weight are we going for today?
So the first four-man tournament that we're going to announce is the welterweight division, the 77 kilogram category, which is normally like quite a tough weight class to match. Obviously, we don't get many bigger guys in the UK competing, but the four that we're going to talk about today have all been on the show before. Always normally tough to match to find fights for, so I'm excited to get this one announced and talk about these guys and start building the hype towards the show in September.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have these four for the same date. But okay, let's go to the first fighter. So, who we're going to talk about first?
So the first fighter I'm going to announce is a Welshman. So I thought I'd announce the Welshman
Thought
first.
we might start with him.
He's fought on our show, and Nathan Lambert will be the first guy I'll talk about. He has a mixed martial arts record of 4-1. He's 1-1 on UKFC. He's had some good fights on UKFC. They're always exciting. He lost to Conor Dern in a fight of the night back in the Guildhall, which was actually a televised show, and the fight ended up getting a lot of airtime because it was that exciting. And he's also got a win over Hassan Hussein on UKFC as well, which was a fight that he was losing at the time, and it had a bit of controversy around it because he managed to get Hassan in an armbar and the ref stopped it without supposedly a tap, which there wasn't one on the video. So it was a bit of a controversial fight. So he's 1-1 on UKFC, but he's also got like a big win over Danny Dixon, who's now a pro MMA fighter as well. So he's entry number 1 into the four-man welterweight tournament.
Sounds good, that one. I suppose being 1-1, he's going to come and definitely try and give it his best, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. We were looking like that last fight to put him in line for a title fight with a big win over Hassan. He did get injured in that fight, injured his jaw, so he ended up needing an operation. He's had to have some time out.
Yeah.
But he's back training now. He's back sparring and everything. So we're looking forward to getting him back in there and competing for this four-man tournament and getting the UKFC Championship Grand Prix belt. He's a good first entry in it. He's always coming forward and he brings a fight and he's tough. So I look forward to seeing him in the tournament.
And that fight with Hassan, everyone still goes on about that, don't they?
Yeah, they still go on about it. I do have to laugh. Like, there was a picture the other day, I think someone did it. Well, Hassan was doing a Q&A on his Instagram and someone asked him who he would like to punch in the face the most. And he put a picture up of the referee who stopped the fight from the armbar. So
that let that one go yet.
Still think he's not let that one go yet, no.
Okay, well, that being said, who's our second entry into this tournament?
Well, we've already talked about him today anyway, so I may as well mention him, and I'm sure he'll be happy. Entry number 2 is Hassan Hussein. So obviously he's got that fight against Nathan Lambert, which is, I know it's one that he wants to get back, and we were trying to match him on the last show. He did have a pull out, and then he took to Instagram to try and call out every single welterweight and middleweight in the UK to try and get himself a fight. But unfortunately, we weren't able to get him one. Nothing come through in the end. So we've slotted him into the tournament. He's got a record of 4-5. Trains out at the Combat Performance Centre in Blackburn and reps MMA. So his record on UKFC, he's had a lot of his fights on UKFC. He's 3-3 on UKFC.
Okay.
And he's got like a notable big win over Deck Dean, who's a good competitor from Manchester 12 gauge. I think he'll bring a lot of excitement to the tournament, inside and outside of the cage on the night. And obviously he's quite outspoken with the people that he wants to call out. But, you know, he does want tough fights. He doesn't want easy fights. He wants to challenge himself against the best, and he'll get the opportunity to do that in this tournament.
Yeah, I suppose there's no better way than to fight twice in one night like this. So I'm sure it'll be worth it for him.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's what excites people.
Yeah.
Caught that one. Excites people about the tournament, the fact that they get to fight twice in one night. It's one of those things, like, you know yourself, as coming up as a fighter, you want to do it. You want to be part of those big nights, which are slightly different to just a normal fight, and have those tournaments and 2 fights on one night. There's no better way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes as well, it makes you feel like you've earned it a bit more, like, especially if your fight ends early or anything, you know, if you've come out of it and you've had 2 fights on one night, you definitely feel like you've come out and got that win properly, don't you?
Yeah, and that's it. And it's how they play their tactics. Are they going to change their tactics? Like, you know, if they're a striker, are they maybe going to try and grapple in that first match so they avoid injuries, avoid cuts and everything? So it's one of those things that just changes the dynamics of having just one fight on one night. And obviously you're not preparing for one specific opponent because you don't know who you're going to get in the final either. So it just changes the dynamics a little.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see whether Nathan and Hussein, they get pulled out the hat first, whether they face each other in the first round or the second.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting, that one. I think they're both going to be gutted if they don't fight.
I was thinking that. I was like, are they going to want the rematch straight away? Are they going to want to fight other people? Are they going to go, like, are they going to meet in the final? It's one of them, like, you don't know what's going to happen. They may end up completely avoiding each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know, like, that's something that I know Hassan would like that fight back, but again, we don't know until we get them all on and we do the live draw.
Yeah,
what's going to happen in the first round of the semi-finals.
Okay, so we've got 2 already. We're on to the third. Who's our third entry?
So the third entry is Reuben Beresford.
Okay. From
the MMA Academy Liverpool and the Jason Tan. So he's got a record of 4-3.
Yeah.
He's 1-1 on UKFC.
Nice.
He's got a notable win over Josh Kennedy. And all of Reuben's finishes are in the first round by a knockout or TKO. So he's an explosive athlete.
Yeah.
He seems to hit hard and put people away early when he does manage to finish him. He's quite a well-rounded, long fighter. Yeah. He's an athlete and someone who we've had on the show, and we have, again, tried to get on every show that he's been available for, but sometimes been able to match him because the 77-kilogram division isn't the biggest.
Yeah.
So it's he's someone who's coming into the tournament, and you would like to think being able to put people away early could play into his advantage in the 4-man tournament. If he can get one of those first round finishes and go through to the final with unscathed and no cuts or anything, and no injuries, to be able to progress and win. So he's another exciting addition to the tournament, I think. And he hasn't actually competed against any of the other guys in the tournament before, so it's just a fresh face, but one we've had on UKFC before, and an experienced guy, someone who's fought like Danny Naismith, fought for amateur titles over the UK, been on Cage Warriors, like fought in Liverpool on Cage Warriors, so he's been accustomed to the big shows.
Yeah.
So we look forward to having him on.
Yeah, I think it's nice. Out of the 3 names we've already got, we've got a bit of a mix, haven't we, there? So I think so far it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, I need some new headphones, by the way. Or some new ears.
Or some new ears. Yeah. You need an ear guard, that's what you need.
Either or.
Okay, so we've got 3 entries. Our last one into the 4-man tournament is...
So the last one is our very own welterweight champion, Malachi Edwards.
Nice.
We give Malachi the option if he wanted to defend the belt or enter in the tournament.
Yeah.
And he was excited to go in the tournament and test himself against the other 3, and again take part in something that is different and special by competing on the night. Malachi fights out a Manchester top team, as we both know, 3-0, 3 wins via TKO. He's 1-0 on UKFC. He beat Lewis Burton in his last fight, which was a bit of a mad experience. He was scheduled to fight Josh Kennedy.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And I think Josh Kennedy ended up missing weight by quite a few kilograms. I want to say like he ended up weighing in the middleweight 84 kilogram range.
It was
the day of the weigh-in. So obviously it wasn't something that you could put ahead for a 77 kilogram fight. And I remember as soon as we finished the weigh-ins, I was messaging everyone and anyone on my phone. We were offering money out for people who were willing to like weigh in the next day and come and step up and fight. And we were out for food, and I was sitting with Steve, and I was like, oh, I'm going to give it one more hour just messaging everyone. Like everyone was sharing the posts. All the fighters were sharing the post. Everyone from the gym was sharing the post. And then we managed to get Lewis Burton in the next day. He agreed to fight that night. He did a video weighing in the morning, and then he actually come to the event and weighed in. He was game. You know, he brought the fight forward. He wasn't one to throw it in the towel. He come forward. He made a good go of it. But Malachi ended up getting the victory and becoming the UKFC welterweight champ. So, you know, it was a stressful ride for everyone. But I think he showed like composure, being able to keep himself calm, not knowing if he was going to get an opponent, not knowing what was happening. Like even the night after the weigh-in, he was still hoping and praying that he would get a fight, and just having a different guy come in with a whole complete different skill set to the one he prepared for. But he managed to get the job done and become our welterweight champ.
Yeah, I mean, I always complain about getting a pull out on the last week, but for Malachi to keep his composure on that last few hours, you know, when he's weighed in, it was brilliant from him, to be honest, because that's always the worst, I think, when you get a pull out like that.
Yeah, I remember. I remember being at the weigh-in and then getting there, and then people were like, "Oh, Josh Kennedy's missed weight," and I was like, "Oh, you know, has he gone to make it again?" They were like, "Oh, he was 84 kg," and I was like, 84 kg.
Yeah.
So it was not something that could even be discussed about going into a fight, but Malachi was still there. I managed to speak to him, say we'd do what we can to find him someone, and he kept calm, he stayed focused, not knowing what was happening, and like you said, you're not a stranger to pull-outs, and he dealt with the situation well and managed to get his first UK regional title. Yeah,
obviously he holds that title, but in this 4-man tournament, he's not going to fight for that at all. He's not defending it. It's a completely new belt, this, isn't it?
Yeah, so he will still be defending the belt.
Okay.
But if he wins, he will get the UKFC 20 belt, which is going to be a bit special, different to all the other belts that we've had in the past. And he'll go on with 2 belts on the night. If someone manages to beat him, then they'll go on with 2 belts. That's why you got to give him your props for taking part in the tournament, because he was offered just to defend his belt in a singular fight on the same night, but he decided to throw his name into the tournament and make it a bit tougher for himself and challenge and put his belt on the line, which you have to give him respect for, because other people might have just took one fight on the night, but he's chucked himself in the deep end, which will be exciting, and made the tournament what it is. And also for the other guys coming in now, he's going to have you know, he's going to be the guy they're all looking to beat. He's going to be the probably going in as the number one guy, being the champ, and with that bullseye on him, everyone's going to be going for him, trying to beat him. So you have to give him props up for taking part in the tournament and having that self-belief to believe in himself and that he can go and win it.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously with him already having the belt at that weight or similar weight, he's obviously going to be a favourite, but we haven't done any draw yet, so we don't know who's fighting who or who's going to win or nothing. But can I ask you who you think are going to make the final, or can I not ask you that?
It's a tough one, and styles make fights.
Mm-hmm.
Styles make fights. I do think, you know, that these guys are all very well rounded, all tough, all can beat each other on any given day, and I think that's why this tournament was exciting, and the first one we wanted to announce, because I've been trying to match these guys like every show, and I don't really fail with matching many people. Obviously, the higher the weight classes go, the harder it gets, and there's been times when I haven't been able to match Reuben. There's been times when I haven't been able to match Hassan. So it you know, that for me, like as a matchmaker, gets me down, because it's my job to get matched and on the show. So to have all four of them in the same tournament is exciting and good, because I also think, like, looking around for them, all four of them, who else do they have left to fight after this? Yeah. Before they progress on with their career, maybe turn pro. You know, like every show you want to try and match one of these against one of the others. So now they get to do it all in one night, and I think like the winner, he's making a statement to start turning pro, depending on like his coaches and everything. But they can knock out 2 fights in one night against 2 high-level guys and tip them towards going pro. But like for you, what was the turning point? Like, when did you think, I want to go pro? Was there, if you were in this tournament, would that be something that would tip you, push you towards it?
Yeah, I think definitely, like, all the, I always say all the championships that I did at amateur were kind of like the making of me. I think the championships, when you're fighting more than once in such a short space of time, you know, even like over a week, if you're getting a few fights, I think it just grows you so much as a person that really after that you're ready to go. So I think any of these boys will probably, they probably will want to move up afterwards, you know, when they've done 2 fights in one night. I think you get that bit of like confidence in yourself, don't you? I think that extra bit of confidence. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
And I just think like there's not many at the weight either, is there, for them to compete against? Like, you look at some of the records, Malachi being 3-0, Nathan Lambert 4-1, Hassan's had 9 fights, Reuben's had 9 fights. You know, they're all experienced, and they get to test themselves in one night against other guys who are up there, like pushing towards going pro, pushing towards being one of the best welterweights in the country. So I think you know, I'm not saying they are going to go pro after it, but if you were an amateur, that I think that would be something that could sway you. Yeah,
definitely. I think it'll be interesting for them to see who gets injured, who doesn't as well. Obviously, they're doing an extra round than what they would normally do at amateur, so be interesting to see actually who makes it to the second round without any injuries.
Yeah, that's it. Are they going to adjust their styles on the night? Are they going to be, you know, look to grapple more and take less shots, so they maybe take less damage? Because obviously you get a serious cut, you're not going to be able to go to the final. Or are they going to go ahead and play their usual games, which is something you always look forward to see, and just changes the dynamic a little bit of the fight going into the final. Do you reckon you change your style, or would you just stay with the elbows and take people out like you usually
I'd like to say that I would change my style, but I really don't think I would. I really don't think I would. I haven't got the best fighter's IQ, to be honest, so I think I would just go in and do what you always do.
Okay. It works.
Exactly. As long as we get the win, we're not bothered. Okay, so that is our 77 kilogram four-man tournament, our welterweights. And that's our first four-man of the night that has been announced. September the 17th is the show, right?
Yep, that's right.
September 17th.
UKFC 20th anniversary.
Our big show, yeah. So we will be back next week, guys, with some more news for our tournaments. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't watched our first episode, go back to the last video and catch up with us. We will see you all very soon.